So how many of you have had like any hard moments, any difficult moments when you say, I cannot do this by myself. This is so difficult. It's like I need someone's help. What's the first thing that pops into your mind? Is it God? You're just thinking about it, you're worried about it, you're stressed about it, but you forget that there's someone that is holding you and got all your worries. Today we're going to see the levels of faith and the way some people think, and how a good relationship with God can increase your faith in Him. So faith for me is divided in 4 different stages, 4 different levels. So in Matthew chapter 14, verse 58 says, "And so he did only a few miracles there because of their unbelief." So Jesus was visiting Nazareth, but he couldn't do anything there because there wasn't anyone with faith. Because of their unbelief, he couldn't do any miracles. People knew him as the carpenter's son, but they didn't accept that he was God's son. And so, this level of faith is not too complicated to think about. It's just no faith. You have got no faith. Zero faith. You got no confidence in God. And all you think is problems. If you have no faith, result is going to be no blessings. And it will be very difficult to stay at this level of no faith, because without God's guidance, what can you do? But there is a higher level than without faith. Let's look at the second level, and it is little faith. Let's go to Matthew chapter 14, verses 29 to 31. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water towards Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why did you doubt me?" So we're looking at Jesus. We're looking at Peter's experience when he was walking on the water. He was walking towards Jesus, but then he got distracted, and all that he thought about was problems. He was thinking, I will sink. And Peter, in the middle of the waves, was looking at him. He was too focused on him that he couldn't think of any other thing. And then he stopped looking at him. He looked away. and fears appear. When you have a problem, all that you have to do is just look at God and trust that He's going to help you go through that. But didn't Peter know how to swim? He was a very experienced fisher. But he was just sitting in the boat, just chilling. He threw the net, he waited for some fishes, and then when he saw some fishes, he pulled the load into the boat. That's all I think that he could do. But why did he doubt in Jesus? Why he forgot that with faith in God, he could do his way back to the boat? In the Bible, Jesus says that fear is greater when there is little faith. And so that's why Peter sank, because he stopped looking at God and he didn't have faith that He was gonna come and grab him. Because Mr. Save Me was the cry of having little faith, he started sinking. But even if there is a storm, you will not sink. That's God's promise. And if you believe and trust that God is with you, He's going to help you. So let's remember, little faith, few blessings. You get what you have based on the levels that you are living. So far, the two experiences of no faith and little faith have developed in the midst of believing people. And that's where the third level comes in. Great faith. On Matthew chapter 8, verses 8 and 10, it says, "But the officers said, 'Lord, I am not worthy to have you come into my house. Just say the word from where you are, and my servant will be healed.' When Jesus heard this, he was amazed. Turning to those who were following him, he said, 'I tell you the truth, I haven't seen faith like this in all Israel.'" So there's this soldier in Capernaum. That's when Jesus was visiting Capernaum, doing some miracles. And this soldier came up to him. He was like, "God, please help me. I have a servant in my home, and I need you to heal him." Jesus said, "Okay, I'll go to your house, and I will try to heal him, if you have faith." But the soldier said, "You don't have to come to my house. Just say the word, and my servant will be healed." Wow. Jesus was surprised in that moment. He was like, "I haven't seen so much faith in all Israel." Okay, let's imagine that we're walking through a city. We are going through some streets, And then you see a man standing over there. He is just waiting for something. I don't know. You're curious about it. You go up to him and you ask him, well, he has an umbrella in his hands. And you ask him, why you have an umbrella? In this sunny day? He tells you, well, I believe that it is gonna rain. What? He's either crazy or he's got a lot of faith. Most of the people will think that he's crazy. And again, you get what you have based on the levels of faith that you're living. And there is a higher level, a bigger one. Extraordinary faith. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, it says, but people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from God's Spirit. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it. For only those who are spiritual can understand what Spirit means. The Apostle Paul introduces a level of faith to all of us. Spiritual things are discerned spiritually, he says. This is faith that is only understood by people that have a personal experience with God. That have a good relationship with God. And yeah, it is faith based on your own experience with God. Extraordinary or crazy faith is when God is giving you a promise that is so incredible that when others listen to it, thinks you're crazy. They think you're out of your mind. Like the guy with the umbrella. And not everyone can have this extraordinary faith. Not everyone likes to be judged. Not everyone likes to be discriminated. Not everyone wants to be uncomfortable. The difference between Christians and non-Christians is not that we have faith and they don't. They also have some faith. There's even people that I know that are non-Christians that have even more faith than Christians. And even babies have faith. But in that, you have extraordinary faith. Extraordinary faith is to obey God despite feelings, circumstances, and consequences. Abraham, for me, is the best example for this extraordinary faith. The Bible says that God called Abraham to some place. He didn't tell him any location. He didn't give him any GPS. He simply said, go to this place because I have a plan for you. Just trust in me if you have faith. Extraordinary faith is required in believing in God. God promised Abraham to be a father when he was over 90 years old. Abraham was asking for a child a long time ago, and now God is giving Abraham a kid. But why? Why at this age? Why so old? And Sarah, Abraham's wife, just started laughing at what Abraham said because she didn't believe what God said. She thought that it was just crazy. Like, how was a woman over 90 years old gonna have a child? But many will not understand what God tells you. And how does extraordinary faith behave? Faith sees even when you see nothing. Faith persists even when you don't feel like it. You're hiking. You're almost at the top of the hill, and you're already tired. You're like, okay, I'm almost done. I just need some meters up there, and I'm done. But you're already tired. You have faith that you're gonna do it. You start running. You start going. And because you had faith, you got at the top of the hill. Because you believed that God was gonna help you. Faith reduces anxiety and it heals the heart. I'm gonna ask Ricky and Jocelyn to come up here. Okay, you can stand right here. Okay, Jocelyn. You're gonna stand facing Ricky, and you're gonna do a trust fall. Céntrense más. No. Tú vas a... Ella se va a caer. Ella va a caer. Tú la vas a agarrar. Dale, dale, dale. No, mirándolo. Facing towards him. Hacia adelante. Volteate. Mirándose. No, not you. Mirándose. Entonces tú vas a caer. Cállate sobre mí nomás. Okay, you can go back to your seat. So what I was trying to say is that when Ricky was looking at Jocelyn, he was like, I got her. Jocelyn, when you were looking at Ricky, did you think that he was going to catch you? Yeah, right? Because you were looking at him. And also, you had a good relationship with him. When you fell backwards, did you fear? A little bit? Was it because you weren't looking at him? You doubted, right? And so, Jesus is asking us to just trust in Him and to put all our worries in Him. Remember, just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean that God is not working. May God bless you abundantly, and may He do with you according to your faith. Happy Sabbath.